Hi everybody, Sarah B here. It's Saturday morning. I usually teach a full class here at Balanced Living. Different times now, it's just you and me here with a camera. But still, I'm going to lead you through the sequence that I would have taught today, slightly abbreviated. It's going to be focusing on lengthening the backs of the legs and putting some ease into your shoulders and your neck. Please begin by either sitting as I am now, with knees together, sitting on my heels in Vajrasana, or if you can, I prefer you to do this, sit in Virasana. You can use a block placed like this underneath your two sitting bones with the tops of your feet on the floor and your toes pointing back. Begin by interlacing your fingers, index fingers pointing straight up, and bring your arms up overhead. As you do this, slightly press your knees towards each other. And make sure you're not adding tension into your neck and your upper back and your shoulders, but just turning your head a little bit side to side. And as you press your tailbone down to the floor, bring your upper body and your arms over towards the right. Breathe into the outside of your left lung. Inhale, come up. Other side. Come all the way up, and then clasp your elbows. Frame your head, bringing your arms back. Turn your head, no, 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 2 or 3 times so you know your neck is at ease. And then the same thing, bring your elbows over to the right. Come up, over to the other side. Maybe pull a little bit with your left hand so the right outside shoulder is stretched. Come all the way up. Then interlace your hands behind your back. Again, change the dominance of your clasp, but again, the index fingers are straight. So just change the lie of your fingers so it feels a bit awkward. And then clasp your elbows behind your back. Raise your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Now release your elbows and come into downward facing dog. So pick your seat up, put your block if you're using one to one side, place your hands, lift up and press back. Push your hands forward. If you need to bend your knees, please feel free to, especially if you feel your lower back rounding. Hang your head like a mango on a mango tree, just loose. Put a little bend in your knees and look forward. Then walk your feet forward, coming into standing forward fold. Feet nice and wide apart so you could put at least 2 of your feet inside your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need to so that your fingers are pressing into the floor. And again, mango head. Lightly press your shoulders up away from the floor onto your back. Then bend your knees, bring your hands onto your hips, come up to standing. And then again, interlace your hands so your fingers are pointing straight up. Bring your arms up overhead. Do it the normal way. Squeeze your feet towards each other and then bend to the right. Use your left hand to pull, use your right hand to pull your left arm long. Inhale, come up. Exhale to the other side. Press your right foot down as you use your left hand to lengthen the right side of your body. Squeeze your bottom. Inhale, come up. Now cross your arms the awkward way and grab your elbows. So the way you wouldn't normally do it. Bring your arms back. And again, lean over to the right. Scoop that right armpit under a little bit. So your chest is facing a little more up to the ceiling. Inhale, come up. And again, the other side. Again, scoop that left armpit under. Squeeze your legs. Come all the way up. Release your arms. Interlace your fingers the awkward way behind your back. Squeeze your shoulders towards each other. Now we're going to do something a little different here. Keep your arms like this. Look down at the floor and step wide. Toes pointing forward and fold forwards. If you need to bend your knees, please feel free to. Lengthen your front body as you fold and let your arms come over. If you need to bend your elbows, feel free. If you need to bend your knees, that's also fine, but really push your feet down and press your feet towards each other. Then coming out of the pose, bend your knees, dig your heels down, come all the way up. Release your hands, heel toe your feet towards each other and come back into downward facing dog. Now, walk your hands back towards your feet. Keep your feet nice and wide apart, but turn your heels slightly away from each other. I'm just reorientating myself so that you can see. So you're a little bit pigeon-toed, and your feet are apart. So again, you could put 2 of your feet at least inside your heels. Coming to Parsva Uttanasana, side Uttanasana. Bring your left hand to the side of your left foot and bring your right hand to the outside of that left ankle. And if you need a block, put the block underneath your left hand, and bending your knees is also fine. And from here, use the strength of your right arm to very gently, carefully guide your right ribs towards your left knee. Think of your chest as a pendulum in a grandfather clock. So you're not twisting open towards the right, you're guiding your right ribs actually towards your left thigh. Let your head hang, again, mango head. And then come to the other side. So swing the pendulum towards the right, left hand hooking around the base of your left shin. And again, it's your left ribs that are going towards your right inner thigh. Notice where you're feeling this. Push your right hand down into the floor quite strongly so that you have a feeling of stability and support. And then come to a normal standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Bring your hands ahead of your toes. Turn your big toes to face forwards and fold forwards. Then come back to downward facing dog. So bend your knees, maneuver yourself so your hands go forward, your feet back. Lift up your heels for a moment here and bend your knees. And push your tailbone away from your fingers. Keep that length in your spine. And then press your heels down as you press the lower back ribs into your body and lift up your 2 sitting bones. Pressing your heels towards the floor. Don't worry if they don't hit the floor, but they're getting a little closer each time. Now bring your knees down to the floor and come completely down. We're going to do half frog pose, Ardha Bekasana. So come up onto your left forearm, supporting your chest. Bring your legs so that they're parallel to each other and perhaps a little bit closer to each other, and bend your right leg. Reach around with your right hand and grab the ankle. Now you can stay like this, feeling that that right knee is at a right angle, but if you can bring your heel a little closer in towards your body as you point your toe, then by all means do. Your heel is coming towards the center of your right buttock and a little bit towards the outside of the right buttock. And stretch your left leg long behind you. Some of you might be able to, and it's quite difficult to teach this quickly online, but you might be able to spin your fingers so that they go over your toes. So you're turning your fingers towards me, bringing your thumb over your big toe and your little finger over your little toe. This is an added option. You do not have to do this. And then as you stay here, press the right hip point, the front of your right hip down. Then release. Just take your hand away. Change arms. Right forearm is ahead, parallel to the front of your mat. Bend the left leg. Reach around with your left hand and gently draw your heel towards the left sitting bone and a little over to the left. Try and keep your chest up. Just look slightly forward. Again, option to stay here, or perhaps if you know this pose already, you can spin your fingers towards the left side of the mat so that your hand comes over your foot, palm to toenails. Keep pressing the left hip point down. It's quite a dramatic pose here to stretch the thighs quite early on in our sequence. So you don't have to really pelt for it. Just try and get a nice length in your thighs. And then release and come into cobra. So I hope this is going to feel quite nice now. Bring your hands by the sides of your ribs. Squeeze your legs, press your legs towards each other. If they can actually touch them, please do, and curl up. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other on your back. Raise your chin, but don't raise your eyebrows. And then come to down dog. Tuck your toes under, push the floor away, bring your navel to your spine, and press back. Now bring your feet together and raise your right leg behind you. Step your right foot in between your hands. Now we're going to do lunge dog. So bring your back heel down like you would do if you were coming into warrior two. Then walk your hands over at about 45 degrees to the left. So you feel like your arms and hands are actually in downward facing dog. Keep pressing down with the outside edge of your right foot, so the knee is moving right rather than left. And then upper body is in down dog, lower body is in warrior two. Stay here. 3, squeeze your back leg straight. 2, let your head hang. 1, press your front foot to the back foot. And then walk your hands back. And come up into warrior two. So place your right hand on your right thigh, pick your left arm up, bring your left arm over your head, bring your right arm up, Virabhadrasana 2. Then down dog, touch down and step back. Bring your feet together, raise your left leg, step that left leg in between your hands, back heel comes down, so same 2 poses. Walk your hands over to the right, really stretch your arms, press your hands flat like pancakes. Keep pressing the left buttock in and towards the back heel as you squeeze that back leg really straight and strong. Bring your navel up to your spine so your abs are strongly engaged, supporting the pose. Then coming into warrior two, walk your hands back. Bring your left hand onto your left thigh, but keep strong. Don't heave yourself up. Bring the right arm forward and then up over your head. Left arm comes up. Warrior two. Maybe bend the left knee a little more. Then come into downward facing dog. Touch down, step back. Well done. Okay, a couple more standing poses. Bring your feet together again. Raise the left leg behind you. And then step that foot in between your hands. Bring the back knee down. For Anjaneyasana, bring your hands onto your hips. Now keep pressing your front foot towards your back knee and squeeze your bottom. There are so many different things that we can do with the arms here. We're going to do a couple of them. Bring your arms up overhead into the classic pose. Thumbs come back. Then bring your arms into cactus arms. Try and keep your upper arms parallel to the floor, your elbows at right angles. Bring the elbows and the palms back a little bit more. And then third position, interlace your fingers behind your back, like we've been doing, index fingers pointing straight. And then make contact with your left index finger and your inner left thigh. It's quite nice to feel that sort of point of reference. And then slide your hands down a bit more and really open up your chest. Look up a little bit more towards the ceiling. Keep pressing your front foot towards the back knee. So quite a lot of effort going on here. Some of you might be able to touch the floor. And then release your hands. Some of you are thinking, what? And then go back into down facing dog. Pick up the knee. Notice how your hips are feeling now, having been in Anjaneyasana for a relatively long time. Bring your feet together, raise the left leg, let the right heel drop when you do this, and then step your foot in between your hands, bring the back knee down, and then arms overhead again, Urdhva Hastasana. And as you reach with your hands and bring your arms back, more behind your ears, press your front foot towards your back knee, squeeze your bottom, and keep nudging that right hip point forward like you did when you were doing half frog pose. Then cactus arms. Try and keep your balance with your legs. If you're really teetering on your legs, move your left foot a little bit more over to the left. Really strong upper back here. Start to raise your heart in preparation for interlacing your fingers the other way, the non-dominant clasp. So arrange it, it's a bit awkward. Try and get your right fingernail, index fingernail, to the inner thigh, and then rise up. These back bends make me sweat. They're hard, but they're a really good energy zinger. If you're at home and you need to really spruce things up and get a little spiritual espresso shot, this is great. Then release your hands, come back to down dog. Now walk your hands back towards your feet. We're going to repeat that Parsva Uttanasana. So I'm just changing my orientation, don't you? You're fine where you are. Heels a little bit away from each other, big toes touch. No, sorry, not big toes touch. Big toes coming a little closer to each other, pigeon-toed. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right leg. Right fingers on the floor beside your foot. Again, block here is a good idea. Otherwise, just bend your knees. And then with your with your left hand, draw your left ribs a little closer to your thigh. Hang your head like a mango. So really lengthening the backs of the legs here. And then come to the other side. And then come to normal Uttanasana now. So release your hands. Toes point forwards now. Fingers on the floor. Maybe you can fold a little bit more as you squeeze your legs. Really hug the muscles onto the thigh bones. Now raise your chest and look up. So you're in Ardha Uttanasana. And then bend your knees, bring your knees to the floor. We're going to do a calf smash here. So it's not as bad as it sounds. So cross your left shin over your right calf, right in the center of the calf. And then slowly walk your hands back so that you're sitting on your left foot. Now I said it's not as bad as it sounds, but it actually might be, because this is pretty strong. You're using your right shin bone to press into your left calf muscles. And by pressing in, they're lengthening. You're getting a really deep tissue massage here. And I hope it's going okay. I hope you're not in tears here. If you are, then lean back a little bit, take some pressure off. Now we're going to change the position. So lean forwards and just bring that left shin back a little bit. So it feels like about 1.5 centimeters, maybe an inch. And then sit down again. So you're smashing a little lower on the back of that right calf. How's it going? Keep breathing. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So walk your hands forward, uncross. Now the right shin, right sort of in the middle of the big bulky calf muscles there, and then sit onto that right foot. You might be feeling this in your ankle here. Bring your chest up, bring your shoulders back. Keep breathing. Now bringing that shin bone down a little bit more, come forward, slide back about 1 inch, and then sit back down again. Now release this, so come forward again, and come into Upavista Konasana, so a wide-legged seated forward fold. The blanket option or the towel option underneath your 2 sitting bones to elevate yourself a little bit is a good idea. Actually, you know what, I'm going to do it. I keep looking at this blanket, I might as well just use it. Especially if you're a little tight in the backs of the legs. This gives you a good 2-3 centimeters of elevation. So legs apart, but not to your maximum. Just back off a little bit, about 10%. Then squeeze your legs really strongly and turn your chest towards your left foot. Toes point up, knees point up in both legs. Then bring your right hand to the outside of this left leg and your left hand onto the floor beside your left hip. And get tall. Now, really push your heels away from you, both feet. Toenails towards your face. And maybe twist a little bit more. This is it. We're not going to come forwards, not yet. And now come to the other way. And then release. Now, if you're sitting on the blanket, take it away now. We're going to take Upavista Konasana a little further. Bring your hands onto the floor behind you. Get tall. Lengthen the front of your body and the back of your body from your tailbone to the back of your head. Now, you're going to keep your bottom in contact with the floor as you increase the stretch here in your inner thighs. So, from here, pick your bottom up just a tiny bit, just the weight, so that you can move your pelvis forward, opening up your legs a little bit more. And then re-squeeze. Stay here. Now, we're going to do the twist again. If you feel like you need to put the blanket underneath your pelvis, do that. So twist your chest towards that left leg, that left foot, right hand on the outside of the thigh, hand on the floor behind you, and twist. Option to stay here, or possibly move your right ribs towards your big toe. If this is going okay for you, and you're feeling strong, and the back of your leg is all right, you can possibly grab the foot. And if this is going okay, then you can round your back, round your spine, as you drop the right ribs and lift the left ribs. Elbows up, so you broaden your collarbones. And please don't really feel like you have to bring your forehead onto your shin. I'm backing off. And then come all the way up. Turn your chest in the other direction. Left hand on the outside of that leg. Right hand on the floor behind you to support you. Keep up. Knees north, toes north. Turn your chest. Again, option please to stay here, or possibly leading with the left ribs, come towards the big toe. Keep your arms strong. If this is going okay, then, and the foot is not feeling too distant, grab it, elbows up. And again, possibly coming forward. Again, take it easy here. Keep your breathing nice and long and smooth and as even as you can. Kind of like you're breathing in and out through a straw, measured and steady. And come all the way up. Good. Now, bring your legs together, coming into Dandasana, staff pose, and bend your right leg. Move your bottom away behind you, sort of use your hands to move the skin of your bottom away from this left foot. And then again, bring your right hand onto the outside of this leg, left hand on the floor behind you, get tall. Option to stay here or come forwards. Keep pushing the heel forwards. Maybe bring your hands around your foot or just stay up. If you are coming forwards, keep lengthening the front body. And then possibly pushing the crown of your head a little more towards me. Bring your elbows up, broadening the collarbones. And squeeze that left kneecap. And as you do this, push your heel forward and bring your toenails towards your face, whether you're down or up. Now we're going to come into Stargazer. This is again a tribute to Christina Sell. Bring your right hand onto the floor beside your right hip. Pick up your bottom, bring the sole of your left foot to the floor, come up onto your right knee, and then bring that left arm over your ear as you look up at the stars, creating more distance between your left foot and your left hand. Really press and lengthen. And then come down and come into Janu Shirshasana on the other side. So lengthen the right leg, left foot comes in. Only separate the foot from the thigh if you're very comfortable and flexible and you know this pose well. Turn your chest, left hand outside of that leg, right hand on the floor, and get tall. Stay here or come forwards. And again, you're moving the left ribs towards the big toe and the right ribs away from the little toe. Hands stay like this or possibly grab the foot. Keep breathing. Go back to that breathing through a straw feeling. In and out through your nose, really filling your lungs in a steady, considered way. Then come into Stargazer. So move your hands back, left hand on the floor, spin your fingers away from you, and then this right foot comes down, and palm facing down, left palm facing down, sorry, right palm facing down. Push everything that's on the floor into the earth, and look up at the stars, turning the left ribs up, and come all the way down. And then come into Shavasana. We're done. Bend your knees, bring your elbows to the floor, come all the way down. I'm going to lead you through a little neck stretch before I leave you alone. So lengthen your legs long, and if you've got a ponytail, take it out. I want you, before you completely relax, bring your interlaced hands behind the back of your head and completely surrender the weight of your head into your arms, into that hammock you've made with your hands. Then, using the strength of your hands and arms, pick your head up and tuck your chin in towards your chest. Look at your toes. Really lengthen the back of your neck here. And release that. Bring your arms down by your side and press your head down into the floor really strongly so you engage all the core muscles of the neck. Then, one more time, interlace your fingers the other way, the non-dominant clasp, behind the back of your head, and again, surrender the weight of your head. Look at your toes, really lengthen the back of your neck. And release, and really do now come into Shavasana. Now please stay here for as long as you want to. I'm going to come out in about 30 seconds. Let your bones soften and drop. If you have any comments or questions that you want to put to me in the comments section below after the class, please feel free. I'm happy to answer any questions. Meanwhile, let yourself go, soften and drop. Deeply relax. Feel yourself held by the earth as you let go. If you're staying in Shavasana, please press pause and stay for as long as you have time for. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you very much for practicing with me. Please do click subscribe and ring on the little bell so that you're alerted when I put up classes. I upload classes twice a week. And have a look at the playlist. I have a whole selection of styles and class duration. Thanks again for practicing with me. Namaste.